You know, it's honestly hilarious watching the gaming industry completely unknowingly have zero idea of what their users, their customers, or even the industry itself actually want. And these multi-trillion and billion-dollar companies do this on purpose. They sacrifice long-term growth and actual industry health over short-term gain. And it's a consistent thing that we've seen over and over again, whether or not they force microtransactions on every other game that doesn't actually need it, or they raise prices of video games to $80, increasing the ceiling of what games should cost and then raising the floor along with it. Price increases for hardware, adding variable rate pricing on their own store to try and coerce more money out of loyal customers, and even customers who aren't that loyal, trying to make them spend a little more as well. Every shady practice that you could actually imagine literally happens in the gaming industry. And I think what's even worse is how certain companies get chance after chance, opportunity after opportunity, and they squander it by stepping on a rake every single time. And today is no exception, because apparently Microsoft thinks that you need AI for your video games. Now, just in case you aren't aware, I've been covering what's been happening with AI in the gaming space and even in the PC hardware space for the past few months, watching as companies like Nvidia go around and begin to remove the actual products that you need to play your video games, all at the same time increasing the cost and nickel and diming you on GeForce Now. We've also been covering what's been happening with the cost of RAM, components, and every other physical device that you'll no longer soon have access to in the gaming space because of AI itself. To make matters worse, we've also discussed what's been happening with the Steam machine and how Valve is getting pushed back over and over by trying to announce not only the price, but in fact the date of when the actual system will release. And the thing is, it gets even crazier, because not only are we watching all this happen in real time, we're literally seeing in this actual moment Microsoft and Satya Nadella ask you to stop calling AI slop. The actual amount of tone-deaf behavior in this industry is absurd and astronomical in every sense of the word. But you see, it doesn't just stop there, because AI is going to be incredibly pervasive inside of everything that we do moving forward. And these companies feel like it's going to be the magic bullet across everything. It's already gotten to the point where Phil Spencer has in fact retired from Xbox, and Sarah Bond was unceremoniously removed as well, and Asha Sharma was put in their place, being the literal CEO of Microsoft Gaming as well. And where did Asha Sharma come from? The core AI team, even though she herself has stated that Microsoft is not going to implement AI slop into their games or even their systems. It turns out things are going to go from bad to worse, and every opportunity that was given to Microsoft, they're now probably going to squander away as well. And not only will they squander it, it turns out that their main competitor in Valve is going to be there to pick up the pieces, because everybody is waiting to see what's next. Because according to Charlie Intel on Twitter, they said this: Xbox says its gaming copilot AI companion is being added to Xbox consoles later this year. It'll let users ask guide-like questions about games. Of course, absolutely of course, the thing that I knew would happen, what I predicted from the very beginning of the Project Helix announcement, is exactly what's going to be happening right now. Apparently, Microsoft is incapable of letting go of the Don Matrick era of Xbox, forcing something onto consumers that no one asked for, that no one ever wanted, and is completely not even close or adjacent to what people actually want out of their gaming system, which is video games. They don't want AI, they don't want TV, they don't want anything else associated with it. All they want is the actual video game. And the reason they want that is simple, is because everything else is trying to take their attention. And we're going to talk about that in just a moment too, don't worry. It's going to tie in all together with all of this. But like I said before previously, it looks like Xbox is going to try and shove AI copilot into every facet of the Helix announcement. And if you don't believe me, here's what they did about TV with the Xbox One era.
Watch TV. TV. TV and TV remote. TV experience. TV. 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 Sports TV. 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 Anybody?
That's right, the company that is obsessed with every little thing at any particular time, and then instead of just actually stopping and saying, hold on, let's use this correctly and apply it in a way that actual customers and consumers would use it in a viable way, they say, nah, that. We're going to shove this into everything across the board, into every product, and that's how we're going to do it. They did it with TV, and now they're doing it with AI. But the thing is, there's more to this. So let's go to the article from Games Radar and go from there. With the article from Games Radar saying this, Microsoft has announced that its gaming copilot AI assistant, which has been available in beta on PC, mobile, and the ROG Xbox Ally since last year, will be coming to current-gen consoles in 2026. With a quote saying this, I'm excited to announce that later this year, we will bring Gaming Copilot to the current generation consoles, and we will continue to bring it to more services that players are playing, says Sonali Yadav, Xbox's Gaming AI Partner Group product manager, revealed at the Game Developers Conference panel attended by Games Radar Plus. Presumably, current generation consoles simply means the Xbox Series X and S, though no specific platforms are called out in the announcement. So there we go. Now they're going to be adding AI Gaming Copilot to basically your PC, your mobile device, which it already has right now, your ROG Ally and Ally X, and even so, the Xbox Series X and S consoles. Literally doing nothing for you at all, except for a couple of very particular things for Microsoft directly. We're going to get into that in just a moment too, trust me. And when you hear about it, it's going to make your skin crawl. Believe it. And the crazier part is it's all flying in the actual opposite direction of literally the good news that we've been hearing about GDC and in fact Project Helix. We've heard rumors going around that soon, around the 25th anniversary, apparently PC gamers will be able to actually play their digital library from 360 and even original Xbox games on their PC, which is actually fantastic. Or the fact that Project Helix has their GDK basically combined, so developers no longer have to worry about making a PC version and an Xbox version. The fact that Project Helix is going to be a hybrid PC console device, playing PC games, having access to multiple storefronts, and playing console games as well, it really goes to show that for some reason, Microsoft literally cannot stop stepping on a rake every conceivable time. You'll have all the best news in the world, and then the last thing they do is take a shit in the punch bowl. For some particular reason, it's their favorite thing to do. And I know what some of you are thinking, Alex, what's the problem with having Copilot AI in my gaming system? I don't even use it on my Windows device. Exactly. It is that useless that you don't even use it on your PC either, or basically any other app for that as well. But think about how ubiquitous Copilot has become for Microsoft. It's embedded itself into basically every single Office 365 application. It's embedded itself into GitHub as well. And let's not forget the actual devastating news of what Microsoft tried to do recently with a service called Recall, where the Copilot AI would literally go around and take screenshots of what you were doing on your PC and storing them. They said locally, but we know what they're doing. They're using that as telemetry to sell that data and take a picture of what you've got in your actual PC, so that way they know exactly what's going on in the back end. A complete total invasion of privacy across the board. But the problem is, even though this seems a little bit tinfoil hatty, the entire issue basically becomes not just a privacy concern, but in fact a monetary one for Microsoft, and how they're going to be using Copilot AI not as a way for you to complete games or beat guides. No, they're going to use it as a way to monetize you and keep you on that platform. But we'll get into that in just a moment after more from the article. With Games Radar's article saying this, as it currently exists on other platforms, Gaming Copilot lets you ask guide-like questions about the game you're currently playing. Microsoft's official site offers an example question like, can you remind me what materials I need to craft a sword in Minecraft? You can also ask for game recommendations or your own play history or account details. Helpful, I suppose, if you've forgotten when your Game Pass subscription is set to renew. Either way, Microsoft appreciates the data from those who've used the feature up to this point in beta, saying, quote, we've learned a lot this past year and appreciate all the feedback that we've gotten from the community, Yadav says. Oh, I bet they're so excited about all the information and feedback that they've been getting recently. Look, the entire reason that Microsoft is shoving AI into Xbox and even the Project Helix is not because they want a better experience for you. No, we've already proven that already with how ubiquitous they're shoving Copilot into everything that Microsoft is doing on the PC platform. The reason why they're doing this is to, in fact, monetize you. No, I'm not kidding. You see, there was a couple of statements by Satya Nadella made back a couple of months ago, and people lost their ever-loving mind. That statement was basically this. Where the Forbes article by Paul Tassi said Satya Nadella's plan to take on TikTok with Xbox makes no sense. Well, Tassi and everybody else who was making fun of it, it's going to make sense now. You see, one of the big problems that people have with video games in this economy is not about whether people buy the video game. It's about whether people are in fact still on the platform playing the video game. And you're thinking to yourself, Alex, what are you talking about? That makes no sense. Of course, if I bought the game, I'm going to play it. Well, you would be surprised. Think of it like this. If you're stuck on a part in a video game and you don't know what to do next, what do you normally do? You will grab your phone, go to YouTube, and then look up a how-to guide. But instead of actually going back to playing the video game, what do you do instead? You get sucked into the YouTube algorithm like you're watching right now. Or even worse, you get pulled into TikTok or maybe even the hellscape known as Twitter. Instead of actually playing the video game, what you're doing instead is using every other social media platform that is pulling your time away. And right now, the biggest commodity in the gaming space is not monetary. No, it's attention. We're living in the attention economy right now, and every company is fighting for your attention. Why? Because of this. In an article written by Axios back in 2022, Stephen Totilo interviewed the EA CEO, and here's what he had to say. Minutes engaged and money spent correlates on almost a 1-to-1 basis, Wilson said. So whether we create the content or a community creates the content, provided it's high quality, provided it's engaging, it represents an extraordinary opportunity for us. That's right, we're not talking about some rinky-dink publisher here. We're talking about electronics, surprise mechanics, arts, going around and literally admitting to everyone, the more time you spend in a video game, the more it correlates to a 1-to-1 basis of time spent to money spent. And that's exactly what Microsoft is trying to do. That's exactly why they're adding Copilot AI into the system, into Microsoft, into Windows, into Xbox. It's not about trying to help you beat the game or getting gamer cred. No! Why would it be anything like that? It's about monetizing your attention, because the longer you spend playing the video game, the more they can serve you ads. That's number one. The more they can tailor to what you're trying to do. Oh, you're beating all these games with our help? Why not keep buying more games? Wouldn't that be fun to do? Get your back catalog cleared out. Back catalog? Who said anything about that? Just go ahead and buy the new stuff. Sign up to Game Pass. More ads on your homepage and dashboard. Oh, by the way, are you enjoying this video game? We were just listening to your conversations recently and figured out that with our AI recall learning that you like this specific color. Guess what? It turns out the color that you like in the game that you're playing is now on sale. Go ahead, buy it, buy it, buy it, buy it. You want to buy it, don't you? Buy the goddamn microtransaction. Just buy it right now. And that is exactly what Satya Nadella wants to have happen. He's trying to monetize players on an entirely different level. When he talked about competing with TikTok, everybody thought he was insane. But what nobody realized was it's the battle for attention. And like EA said, the longer you play, the more it correlates to the money being spent. Because according to Kotaku on Twitter, they said this: Microsoft is bringing gaming Copilot to Xbox later this year. Here's what it sounds like when you ask the AI for help.
What should my alignment be?
For your escort, I'd suggest dialing in a bit more negative camber up front, maybe around -2 degrees, just to help those tires bite into the corners. In the rear, keep it a bit milder, around -1.5 degrees. Then set your toe to 0 so your car tracks nice and straight. And we're all set. Let me know if there's anything else you need.
So here we have Copilot AI literally monitoring everything that you're doing while you're playing on your console or while you're playing on your PC through the new Xbox gaming full screen experience, it's going to be launching pretty soon as well. And it's actually seeing everything that you're doing at any given time. Clearly a massive invasion of privacy. On top of that, literally trying to give you information about what to do next. Here's the big problem though. A lot of the information that these AIs are pulling from is not updated or in fact new. The majority of them are just being scraped by whatever web crawler they're using, which is right now going to be Bing for Microsoft, which clearly doesn't even give you the right information right now. And even Google itself doesn't do a good job of that either on their own search engine either. So then comes the part with true frustration. Now you have an AI giving you outdated information that doesn't really bode well or isn't part of the meta or on its own hallucinates, while also going around and capturing all of your actual data, what games you like to play, how long, how often, what days you play on, and what actual friends you play with at the same time. Clearly, this is a massive issue overall. And I think this is exactly what's going to be happening with Microsoft and why the next Project Helix could be in serious danger, especially if this is something that they push to the forefront as a selling point of the next platform, even then for Windows. And the rumor going around that Project Helix will be using Windows as its base, this also becomes a massive issue as well on how they're going to put everything together. But here's the bigger issue overall. Not only is everybody dealing with this right now, it turns out that this may be the exact opening that Microsoft is trying to push into that could leave them directly vulnerable from an attack by a company that they can't stand, and that's Valve. You see, there's a reason why I bring up Steam in the majority of my videos. It's a platform and a company that a lot of people have put a lot of trust into. And clearly Microsoft has been trying to take pages out of what Steam and Valve does, but unfortunately, they're still going back in time. And here's the big problem with all of this. You see, Microsoft has decided to go ahead and stop supporting Windows 10, a huge OS that many people use for gaming even today. And that's going to be a big concern, because clearly Linux has been starting to take over a lot of the gaming space as well. And it's a direct opening for what people are looking for when it comes to gaming. Going online and seeing people become Linux converts and looking at SteamOS or things like Bazite or CatchyOS and saying, hey, wait a minute, I have actual privacy. I don't have to deal with a bunch of AI. The games literally work out of the box, all besides just a couple of them that require specific anti-cheat, like either Valorant or, dare I say, Apex Legends or something like PUBG. But the majority of your games work out of the box. Hell, even Windows games that are older from like the 90s and 2000s work infinitely better on Linux than they do on Windows themselves. I don't have to download DG Voodoo 2 to make things work. I don't have to use lossless scaling to make things full screen or even windowed, and things just work out of the box when I use SteamOS on my Steam Deck and soon to be on the Steam machine as well. And this could be a prime candidate of people going from Windows 10 to SteamOS or Linux instead, and having a large market share of users move away from Microsoft simply because they're pushing all of this to the forefront. And this is exactly what Microsoft does not want to happen. But the problem is they're going to keep making this issue occur for themselves. The big competitor to Microsoft and Project Helix and even Xbox is not Nintendo. It's not PlayStation. No matter how many times people on Twitter want to tell you, their biggest competitor right now is in fact Valve and Steam, as they are pushing forward the entire aspect of putting Linux into the forefront of gaming. The Steam machine is a bigger threat to everybody than anyone could actually imagine, even if it is overpriced. It's not about the price, it's not about the power, it's about what the actual PC that Steam is putting out will in fact represent. Privacy, ownership, the ability to control your hardware, having that available to you right there, and having a company that has earned your trust over 20 plus years of their existence. Remember, I myself and many others hated Valve for a very long time after they released Steam in the first place, basically creating the entire DRM landscape. It took them 20 plus years to get the actual consumer good graces that they have right now. And if Microsoft continues to force AI and push this into every other aspect of their gaming systems, you're going to see a backlash of people. You're going to see people do one of two things: just roll over and accept what AI is doing, or go the opposite direction and move into Steam and Linux. And I feel like that is exactly what Microsoft is not expecting people to do. But I feel that's going to be a bigger issue for them in the very end, because clearly everybody is looking at the Steam machine. Everybody is looking at Linux. And if you just go around and see what's happening in this space, people are in fact massively concerned. Privacy issues, massive governments trying to go around and create real ID logins for operating systems. Unfortunately, this also includes Linux in some capacity. Microsoft being directly involved in OpenAI and even their own copilot AI as well, buying up tons of GPUs and hardware that they're going to be using in data centers that Satya Nadella even admitted himself they don't even have the power to turn on, just sitting there and hoarding all of it. And then at the same time, massive amounts of data collection, with that data then being sold to the highest bidder, or Microsoft using that data collection to go around and manipulate you into spending more money on that platform, keeping you away from basically everything else. Now, does that TikTok statement make sense? Now do you finally see what they're trying to do? It's not about trying to compete with TikTok. Well, they are. They're competing with TikTok for your attention, because they know your attention means money. And that is the scariest thing of all. I am incredibly worried about what's going to be happening with Valve and the Steam machine. And hopefully they also don't succumb to the entire AI process as well. Because if they do, that's going to be a dark day for tech, and especially a dark day for people in the gaming space. But you know what? I want to hear what you guys got to say about this in the comments section down below. Do you think Project Helix has a massive uphill battle if they're going to be presenting AI across the board? Or do you think this is blown out of proportion? I want to hear what you guys got to say. Speaking about what you guys got to say, though, here in fact is the comment of the day from the previous video. With EAT@DOE's 1183 saying this: Valve winning the console war by doing nothing would be the funniest thing ever. DOE's, that would in fact be the funniest thing of all time, mostly because every other company should take that one lesson that Valve consistently tries to teach, yet nobody apparently listens to. But as always, if you want to see more of this kind of content, though, more PC port reviews, gaming news, Steam Deck videos, fanboy content, and even live streams every Saturday night, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, subscribe to the channel. If you want Discord access or emotes during those live streams, become a YouTube member. It's as low as $1. If you don't want to spend the buck, don't sweat it. Just come on down Saturday night, live, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, right here on the channel, as I wear a banana suit and get insulted by about 800 people with TTS. Trust me, it's a hell of a show. You don't want to miss it. Saturday nights, live, 8:45 p.m. Eastern. With all that being said, though, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you have a great one, and I'll see you gooners next time. Peace!